and I
And
have started recording now.
all right, we're streaming, we're recording, we are live.
Welcome to yet another episode of This and That.
This and that with Ola and Jazz. How's it going?
It's going well, man.
Yeah?
It's getting colder and colder, and projects are getting more and more intense. And Social Nexus has been coming along, but there have been some bigger projects on the way, so just has taken a pause. But
Yes. I I hear you. I am kind of in the same boat. End of the year, trying to finish up things, and it yeah, social nexus has been on the wayside a bit, but you you suggested that we should do a quick chat, and I think that's a good idea.
yeah, just kind of keep the rhythm going.
Yeah,
Just I feel that that's always a good idea. It's going to keep the focus on for us, and while Social Nexus is on the sidelines, I figured that This and That with Ola and Jazz, our little production here, um, can, with Social Nexus or not, or whatever it is, I think that it would be just fun to have like a regular thing where we talk about new tech.
yeah,
And in fact, given the premise of Social Nexus, we have talked about a lot of new technologies. And I was just looking around the other day online, and the kind of content we discussed, the way we have put it together, those kind of topics coming together, there's not that much out there.
hmm
There's a lot out there about like one very specific thing, but the way it took us around Azure to create like this DevOps way of building the Social Nexus prototype,
yeah.
that was pretty neat. I don't see much of that out there.
Yeah. I mean, this is it's fun to try out new stuff, and I think this is a good opportunity for that. One thing that I think has been interesting is how we have been. I mean, we've been doing this for like almost like 2 months, 3 months
Couple
maybe
of
now.
months, yeah, couple of months.
And I mean, we've kind of evaluated and looked at all kinds of different technologies. And one thing that I thought about earlier, before we went online here, is um, there's so many ways that you can approach this, and like the more I start thinking about it, the more questions you get, and the more you start to think about the technologies to use, etc. And I thought initially, like way back when you first came to me with this idea, I started thinking, well, I mean, how can't be that difficult. I mean, we can probably figure out the maybe not to build the application is perhaps going to take some time, but just figure out what tools to use and what technologies to use, etc. But now, the more we look into it, and also some of the cool stuff that you show that I haven't used before, like the collaboration tools and whatnot, I'm starting to wow, this uh, there is a lot of different things to think about and try to evaluate and try and figure out if what we should pick that would work best.
I know, and I was thinking about, I had one of those. If you remember, like our former boss Tim used to refer to me as the guy with the most buyer's remorse. Like it's hard for me to pick something, and so I'm
Yeah,
looking at all of these options, and you can imagine how hard it is for me to actually pick one tech stack
yeah,
that we could use to actually build this thing, because I mean, there's like storage, data storage, like there's like 50 million options. And
yeah,
then do you build it using DevOps, or do you build it using no code, or do you actually write partial code and low code, or do you just fully code it up?
yeah,
God, there's so many options. I'm like,
yeah.
man, how do you even decide, you know?
um so in regards to that, like, how do you decide? What I also started thinking about is, I wonder if we're approaching this the right way. So, and what I mean by that is, so my way of approaching like any problem, somebody say, hey, can you do this or that, or we need this application, my approach is always to get to it from the technical side. Like I start thinking about the code and how to
Right.
deploy, and I did the same thing here. I mean, I caught myself and I realized, well, that's kind of what I'm doing here too. I went right into just looking at technologies, and I'm thinking that maybe we should try, if nothing else, I think it might be a good exercise to try and approach it from the end user's perspective. So
Mm,
let's let's not even think about the technology. I mean, we've evaluated some technology, we looked at some technology options, some tools that we can use, but let's see if we can start sketching out like the user interface, like
totally.
not thinking about the technology, but just okay, this is, if I were a user, if I were a consumer of this product, this is what I would like to see. Like these are the screens, this is the flow in the application, and start from that angle instead.
I am totally with you on that. In fact, along those lines, I was actually thinking of two ways to go about it. Is we could we could approach this as a full-on project, so it's not just a technical challenge. This is like, can we make something that is useful?
Mm-hmm.
Challenge, right? So from that viewpoint, um, it's definitely very common in Silicon Valley, at least, that a lot of us here, myself included, like I think of the technology first rather than thinking of the end users. And so about a couple of years ago, a friend and I, it's like last year, I think, a friend and I went to this workshop called Human Centered Design.
Mm-hmm.
And it's by the guys from IDEO. IDEO, they have like a nonprofit arm called IDEO.org. These are the same guys who used to work with Steve Jobs at Apple way back when.
Yeah.
And they have this whole human centered design process for actually building things that are useful. And it just occurred to me, actually, not too long ago, that you're right. Like, we have focused a bunch on tech, but that is one thing we have not. And I mean, to be honest, at least on my side, given we've been colleagues, we have been mostly like, our experiences have been mostly in tech,
Yes.
right? So it's almost a challenge in some ways because it's a new skill set and it's a new thing.
Yeah.
But hey, like, what does it take to make something useful? And my dream is like a coaching platform, but do I really know? Do we really know if a coaching platform is what the world needs?
Yeah.
Yeah. So things to think about, at
Yes.
least on my side.
No, I agree. So I think that um, what we should do the next time, or what we should think about, homework for both of us
Mm,
till next time, is to think about, let's forget the technology and let's start looking at it from an end user's perspective, uh, and or a consumer's perspective. So what are the, what is the specific problem that we're trying to solve, which we've talked about a bit already, right? To find, provide a very easy to use, intuitive platform for,
right.
teachers, instructors, mentors, etc., to be able to engage with their audience, whether that is, written, video, streaming, YouTube, whatever, right?
Right.
But kind of formalize that a little bit, and then um, start thinking about the user interface. And so here's the more sort of formalized problem statement and what we're trying to do. Here are this is what the end user experience should look like when they're using our platform,
Right.
and look at it from that angle, figure all of that out, and then when that's all done, we can kind of loop back and start plugging in the technology behind the scenes.
as we see fit,
Yeah,
depending on the requirements that we take a look at and figure
exactly.
out. Yeah, that would be it's homework. I think one of my mottos with such kind of productions is I realize that homework on our own can be sort of boring, and especially or like extracting, especially when you have like a family and a full-time gig and all of those
Yes,
things happening, and forest fires approaching your
yes.
home. So it's
Well, so what we
I
can,
I we could do is like we could like when we come together, we actually do our research. We plan how we're gonna do the homework, and then we do the homework on our show.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And we use the which completely escapes me now, the collaboration tool that you showed.
Notion,
What do you say?
Notion.
Notion, yes.
Yeah,
And then we use that to like in real time we can write out the document and
totally.
uh,
Yeah,
yes, I like that idea because I think that honestly that's gonna be the way that we get things done, right? Because as you mentioned, right, there's exciting things going on, and neither of us is going to spend or have the time to spend a tremendous amount of time sort of
right.
offline and
Yeah,
plug away.
exactly.
So yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I
yeah,
would
so the
say, like,
idea is
being
to
honest, like we don't have the momentum just yet, but I think doing this a few times,
yeah,
we might just have the right amount of momentum to
yeah,
make this a thing for
yeah,
sure.
we'll
Yeah,
sit together for for an hour once a
yeah. We
week
could we
and
could we could totally cap it in an hour, and
yeah,
I would say one of the things we could do is we could have like just a discussion, and this could be even over our messages, text messages. Like, okay, next time we're gonna do these three things on the agenda. We're gonna create a basic wireframe. We're gonna figure out like the basic use case. We're gonna actually just figure out exactly what the statement is like. What is it this is trying to solve? Like it could be
yeah,
like simple, small steps.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. I like it.
yeah.
I think that's a
That's
good
uh,
idea.
That's a good idea. So I guess like our homework then is we just message each other every once in a while, like just
Yeah.
stay on top of like what our agenda is going to be next time.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Let's say you and I will figure out the agenda. Let's say we'll come up with like um, three things to accomplish next Wednesday.
Perfect. Yeah.
And we spend like 20 minutes each on it, and there's the hour, right? So then every week
Perfect.
we'll set up like these are the three things we're gonna do, and then we'll see how that works out.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, I
Cool.
love it.
All right.
So I guess that caps our episode, like
Yes.
our check-in episode today.
Yeah. And I'm just looking here at my I'm just looking at the stream here, and it's YouTube is having some issues. So I
Oh no.
guess it's on my end. Well, we'll see what happens. I might
Uh,
have to have you send me what you.
yeah, I'm happy to send you the video. So,
Yeah.
FYI, for those of you who are hearing this as a podcast, apologies that it is super delayed. Uh, Apple updated their Mac OS, and since then, Descript has just stopped working. So, so I've got two episodes, this one and the previous one, still in the pipeline, waiting, and they're supposed to come up with an update anytime soon.
Yeah.
So, yeah, at least the YouTube stuff is going on time.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right,
All
my
right.
man. This was perfect.
Awesome.
Um, you guys will check in with you in just a week. We're gonna have a agenda and we're gonna work online. So,
We're gonna be
uh,
super organized next week.
all
Okay.
right,
Yes.
Sherry, I'm gonna stop recording
Cheerio.
here.